Today's episode of Chat and Chew is sponsored by Be Positive Productions and Multimedia Studios, LLC. I like to think of imagination as something akin to a superpower. Used in the right context for good, it can help bolster our aspirations and propel us closer to our goals. We visualize the outcome of our accomplishments and work toward attaining said thing. However, when used to propagate untruths, reality can become distorted. We no longer know what's real and what's not. The more often we repeat something to ourselves, the more likely it is to become our truth, and the lines between perception and reality begin to blur. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. Please make sure you follow us on Facebook, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, hit the bell to activate notifications that will remind you when we're on. Please be sure to leave us a comment to let us know how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you.
Greetings once again to Fathers Forever Chat and Chew broadcast. I am glad that we have another opportunity to come and share with our audience today. Before we really get into it, I am going to ask my partner, Mr. James Jackson. We got a little housekeeping thing that we normally do, so take it away, James.
Welcome aboard to our Facebook friends. If you are on Facebook, please like our page and share our broadcast with your friends. And if you're on YouTube, welcome YouTubers. Please subscribe to our channel, click the bell, and be on the lookout for our broadcasts. And then we won't leave out our friends from Instagram. Welcome aboard. Hello, Instagrammers. Share this with your friends, everybody. Thank you, Glenn. Back to you.
Yes, James. I am glad to today be here. We have a very special guest. We always have special guests. But now this is a topic, and we're going to get into it that we a lot of people have, and one of our classes that we teach in our 12-week fatherhood class is about child support. It's a major issue that a lot of people have. It's very important, and so we have invited our guest today, Mr. Lewis Jackson from Wake County Child Support Come. He's going to come, and James and I are going to have a dialogue, and we're going to ask him some serious questions about child support and all that good stuff. So welcome to the studio, Mr. Lewis Jackson. Yeah,
Right.
So we got two Jacksons in there.
Yes, sir.
Relationship, right?
Well, we might have to look back a few.
Yeah.
Let's see where this name came from.
Yeah. So Mr. Lewis Jackson is here today from the Wake County Child Support office, and representing Miss Tamiko Hicks. She is the supervisor, coordinator of the Child Support Agency.
Yeah.
And so she would normally be here. She's couldn't come here to make it today, so we've asked Mr. Lewis to come and to share us about child support issues. But before we get into that, Mr. Lewis, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and how long you've been working for Wake County Child Support.
Okay, again, my name is Lewis Jackson. I've been with Wake County Child Support now going on 26 years.
Wow.
Previously, before that, I was in law enforcement in the city of Winston-Salem.
Okay. You was a cop?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
At least 7 years.
Get out. We were like, brother, Child Support Court, be the cop.
I'll say this. I enjoy being out on the street.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Oh, yeah, it's a big difference. From being out on the street and then having to move to being behind the desk doing things.
Yeah.
But it was a good transition.
Okay, cool.
Safe transition, too.
But there had to be an allurement to go from out on the street to child support even. I mean, what was that?
Taking money. No, it was just the idea of not having to be in danger all the time.
Oh,
Yeah, have returned them.
That was a big thing, just to be safe.
They want to go
I
home.
wanted to go home more often without having to deal with all the issues and stuff.
Right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'm sorry, we interrupted you. Tell us about yourself.
Other than I'm father of two.
Okay.
My son's actually he just graduated from USCG.
Oh, okay.
Daughter, she's
Congratulations.
a junior and or a rising senior now in early college.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Man, yeah.
From Winston.
Proud father, huh?
Yeah.
Proud father.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you've been working with child support. I know you have a lot of stories about child support, maybe some good, maybe some bad. Part of what fathers ever have been doing for the last 15 years is working with agencies like child support agency, where guys at risk of going to jail for non-child support. And instead of them sending them to jail, and they hold them criminal contempt, they would, send them to jail, they would order them to a father program like ours.
Yes.
So that's how we kind of got introduced into the child support care, where we have provided like a diversion, if you will, for guys are ordered to come to our program. The other part about it is guys are not really going to come to our program and not let their order. They're not going to come and say, "Hey, Mr. Glenn, I'm not doing right by my child support, so let me come to your fatherhood program."
Right.
Most of the time, they have to be court ordered.
Yes.
One way or the other, by a judge or by a Wake County like yourself. And so that's how we kind of got involved. And by the end of this, we're going to have some numbers to go up and show you how many people have really came to our program over the last 15 years and our relationship with Wake County Child Support Court. And that is when a client is, like I said earlier, at risk of going to jail, the judge say, "Hey, we're going to give you this 30-day sentence, but we're going to suspend that sentence and we're going to send you to a fatherhood program. You still got to pay your child support, but you got also now got to go to this place."
Yes.
And so that's how we kind of got involved in. We would get child support referrals from you guys. And so one of the classes that we have is we talk about child support payments and where they're going. And so we have a lot of questions about a lot of guys. In fact, you're going to be one of the teachers at our class tonight. Guys are going to ask you about child support. So today we wanted to just kind of ask you some questions about how anybody can get child support established, what is the process, how it looks, and just some general questions that we're going to ask. And hopefully some of our audience who may be struggling with child support issues, or maybe don't understand the child support laws, or maybe don't understand, what child support is, period, and they can get some question answers.
Okay.
So we're just going to, these questions you can probably answer in your sleep. But we're going to ask, so if a guy, come to you, and he is, he's found out he's a father or whatever, and he's not put on child support, how do y'all determine now amount of the child support that he's got to pay?
Okay. Well, first, that question, we get that quite often. Child support is basically determined off of the child support guidelines that are established through the state legislature.
Okay.
We base the obligations off of the both parties' income, and it's pretty much a guideline worksheet. So, and basically the easiest way I can tell people when I explain it to them is two sides to the worksheet. And you got the custodial parent, that side, and then you got the non-custodial. Okay. And on that, we start with the basic number. What is your income, gross income? And then from there, you start subtracting things off. So if a person has another child, biological children, meaning this is your child in your home, then we give you credit for that child in your home, either one or two. But it has to be your biological. Can't be the girlfriend's.
Right. Okay. Can't be your stepkids.
No, it can't be your stepkids.
Got it.
Unless you adopted them.
Right. Okay.
If you hadn't adopted them, then okay.
Right.
Then we look at if you have another child support order that you are court ordered to pay. Now we get the question, well, I pay child support. I child support to my ex-girlfriend. Okay, but is that a court order? Well, I just give her money. Not court order.
Right.
We need it to be a court order. Then we can add that number in. So it starts deducting off of that income again on his or her side, because I can't say heard him all the time because we have women got to pay in child support too.
Yeah.
Then we look at the number of overnights.
Yes.
How many overnights does the child reside with you? How many overnights does the child reside with the other parent? And that will determine, which worksheet we will use. Most times if it's a joint custody, then it will be a worksheet B. If it's just a no custody agreement in place or visitation order in place, then it's just going to be a worksheet A. And so I'm just going to stick with the worksheet B because we talked about those numbers, overnights.
Huh.
That's what we will calculate. The total number is 365, so it has to be down the middle.
Right.
From there, now we start looking at health or child care. Does the other party have child care expenses? And we look to see how much the child care expenses are, or what they have to pay. You got some who have child care vouchers, but they're still obligated to pay something out of pocket.
Right.
So we have to calculate that on that side of the custodial parents worksheet.
Right.
From there, then we look at health insurance. Who's providing health insurance for the child or children? If it's through Medicaid, then there's no cost. But however, if if you have a health insurance policy, your child has the health insurance, the child is on your health insurance, then we look at the number of people that are actually on that health insurance and divide that number by the total cost. So we'll know exactly how much that individual child is supposed to be receiving or it costs for that one individual child.
Okay, back to the overnights.
Okay.
How many overnights do a person, you got the non-custodial parent, how many overnights do the kids have to live at that non-custodian house before the child support is affected one way or the other?
Oh,
Start to go down the way.
this starts to go down. If I'm right, and I'm going off top, but
Yeah.
let's really do too much of establishment work.
Right.
But if I remember right, it's divided. That 365 is divided by the 2, and so I think it's 1. If I remember right, I'll have to go back and get that.
Right, yeah.
But if it's 1, I think it's like 163 or something like that. I may be off, but it's going to be that divided number.
Right.
And then, and even then, it's still not going to still change it and not change it.
So if a person get a kid every other weekend, that's not enough to be to have joint custody. Because that's not nowhere near that 128.
So it came up 182.
Yeah, 180.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So that's split. That'll be like split down the middle.
Yeah, that would be
Okay. So anything
This
so
is joint custody.
it's joint custody.
All right.
So if they got like 128 hours, that's still not joint custody, and that's not going to affect really your child support payment yet.
No, then we're going to flip that back to a worksheet A.
Right. Okay.
Because you don't have the total number actually divide right. But
So get the child every other weekend.
It's not.
That's still visitation, right?
Yeah.
That's not enough to really affect. You know, we get guys all the time and they say, Mr. Lamb, I really want to reduce my child support quarter, my child support payment. And I say a sure way to do that is to increase your overnights.
okay.
Because the more overnights you get, the less the child get close to that number, that midway number, the lower your child support may be.
Yeah, it may lower, but it's really and truly, again, it all, like I said, that worksheet, the deductions you have on your side of the table is what it's going to reduce it down.
Yeah. So little guys like I say, and overnight to me, the person is go to bed with that night, and then when they wake up the next morning,
They're still at your
house. So from 9 o'clock at night until 9 o'clock the next day. 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. That's all overnight.
That's not over.
It's got to be overnight. They got to go to sleep with you that night and wake up with you the next morning.
Take them to school.
That's considered.
Yeah, that's right. Taking their school and everything.
Yeah.
And then picking them up, and then they're still with you.
And so that's why a lot of guys, they say they want to reduce the child support, but they don't want to do that because that means they got
Obligation.
Yeah.
commitment, obligation, that kind of stuff.
And
So if I'm a person, how do I establish a child support order? What does that look like?
how do you establish one?
Yeah.
And well, the first thing is it starts out with as application
Yes. Okay.
or the referring process. application usually, we have guys who come in and they want to, well, I want to put myself on child support. Okay, great. All right, here's the application. It's a $25 fee. All right, you pay the fee, you do the application. Then we got to contact the other party.
Right.
And the other party has to be willing and want our services. If they don't want our services, then we're pretty much back at square one. We're going to close that case off. However, if that other party tells us, well, I do want the services and things of that nature, then what we'll do is we will look to see if paternity needs to be established. But because that's the other factor about child support. Paternity is going to be established.
And how is that established?
Either through genetic testing or your name's on the child's birth certificate, or you sign, which that starts out either at the hospital, you sign the affirmation of paternity, parentage, and then your name gets on the birth certificate, or again, through the paternity test, and then that's how your name gets on the actual birth certificate. And once we have the paternity out the way, and then we start looking at the numbers.
So a lot of guys come to us, and they may or may not be the father. They've had a relationship with the mother, and she says, "I'll put you on child support." She goes down, file an application to put this person on child. And this person, for whatever reason, is contacted by the child support agency, and he doesn't respond. He doesn't return the call. He doesn't do anything. How would y'all ensure that he is contacted to let them know that somebody has said you are the father of this child and he's not responding? What would y'all do there?
First of all, we're gonna go through that locate process. Okay. Once we locate, we have different ways of locating the person.
Right.
One, your Social Security will always give you away.
Right.
But then also you have the person, she may know where he lives at.
Right.
So we'll try to match the person up, and then, and we'll send letters to them, say, hey, this is your opportunity to come in and talk to us.
Right.
We always give you that window of opportunity.
Right.
It's a 10-day window. After 10 days, that window closes, and now we're going to start other process.
Okay, so I don't show, I get your letter. I get your letter. Let me change addresses, and I don't respond. Okay, y'all do that.
Then we start, that's when we start the process of filing the court action. And filing the court action, we'll send it out through the sheriff for service. And if we get them served, if you get served, service can be done either way. You can be done through the mail or through sheriff. Sheriff is the most effective way, because like you said, some people may change the address. Yeah. We won't ever know.
Right.
But the sheriff is going.
So the sheriff show up in my office and say, hey, you got a court date on June 30th.
Yes.
And I decided I ain't going to go to that court date. I'm not showing up. What do y'all think?
We'll keep sending the sheriff out there. We're going to also have information, like if we have your social, then we're going to also be looking at employers.
Right, okay.
We can find your employer and verify that you are working at this employer. Then, and the sheriff has already served you notice, but you decided you didn't want to show up. Now, how you look at possibly a default order. And that default order will pretty much basically say, this is how much you're obligated to pay. That's the surprise a lot of guys get when that default court, and then they send that encouragement to the employee.
Right. So, but
they don't even want to talk.
Yeah, still want to talk. Well, yeah, like I said, that window of opportunity. When you show up, but
okay. Now this time it's not established that I am the father because I didn't show up to get the paternity test.
Yeah. Now paternity is still at issue. Then again, we're going to keep trying to establish that part. We got to get that paternity.
So now when I decided I would show up because my letter got to my employer, and the possible garnishment. Now I can call you guys and then y'all could do the paternity test.
Now we're backtracking.
Yeah, we're backtracking.
So the window of opportunity really, really closes.
Yeah, the window closes quick.
Yeah.
But the thing was, paternity is going to already, at some point, in some way, we've already figured out paternity. I'm learning, we learn every day with child support that people have a relationship with the child. If we can show that you had a relationship with the child where you were like giving money to them, picking up the child, spending time and all that stuff, then the judge can pretty much make that decision. Well, he has a relationship with them to the point to where, we can establish.
So you now could establish that fertility. It could be established other ways besides blood tests.
Yes, judge can make that determination, but based on the evidence that's presented. And that's what it all comes down to: what evidence is presented to the court, and what the judge determination is going to.
So if it behooves the person,
if you've been doing it for years, then
they kind of show up and either take that blood test to show that you are the father.
Yeah,
because if you're not the father, you still don't show up, and they could establish you any other way. You may be paying for a child that's not yours.
Yeah.
But because you missed that window opportunity because you didn't take advantage of or whatever. It's kind of like the archer. If I put my head in the sand, this problem will go away. So if I don't show up, then this is going to go away. But it don't go away.
Doesn't go away.
I'd tell everybody and anybody, you need to, if you get the letter, at least pick up the phone and call.
That's all.
And that way, and we'll actually be trying to reach out too. Because again, we're trying to, even though that window is short, we still are trying to reach you and try to make sure that, hey, at least you have the opportunity to speak on your own behalf. Because, again, a lot of times you have guys that will sign the affidavit or affirmation of paternity at the hospital,
right?
Which puts their names on the birth certificate, but then all of a sudden
they ain't mine.
Stop looking like me. And so now you want
to do some explaining to them.
Now you got to jump through several other hoops in order to get your name off.
So now I'm established. I'm the father. I got to pay $340 a month child support.
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying that on a better basis. Then all of a sudden, what happens if I just stop paying that child support? I don't want to pay it no more. I don't like the mama, whatever, and I'm just stop paying it. What do y'all do then?
Then we file what's called a show cause.
Show cause.
That's a motion to show cause, order to show cause, appear in show cause for non-compliance.
And so
we're telling you to come to court and tell the courts why you feel like you don't need to be paying the child support anymore.
And if I am a good excuse, what happens then?
It's up to the judge. So you can either be incarcerated,
okay,
and order to pay a purge to be released, or the judge can find you. That's what the judge finds you in civil contempt.
Right.
Or the judge can, you can agree to say, okay, well, I'm in contempt. Everyone's going to get the opportunity to have a court-appointed attorney.
Right.
If they're in there for a show cause.
Okay.
And that court-appointed attorney basically is going to be representing you and telling the courts on your behalf why you weren't making those payments and things of that nature. Or if you come to court and you say, well, I don't have a job or I'm having some other issues, yada, then that's when the court's going to order some to come to Fathers for Elders, or they can order them to do something other programs,
right?
Day-to-day dads and things of that nature.
Yeah, right.
But it's several other ways.
Yeah. So now, how long do I have to pay that $360?
18 years.
18 years.
Till you pay it all their wares up.
So this is another question we get from a lot of guys. I was making $60,000 a year. I lost my job.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm making $30,000. How do I change my child support based on what I was making to based on what I'm making now? How can I do that?
Yes, you can. If you started out making $60,000 and we established the order at say maybe say $850, and you can't afford that anymore because your job situation,
right?
Then contact your case agent. The case agent will then send you the paperwork to file a motion for modification.
Okay, that's what, yes.
Some modification.
Modification. That motion for modification now is your opportunity to tell the courts why things changed in your life or what has changed in your life. And now the courts will now start that whole recalculation process all over again using either his income, if he's the non-custodial, and the custodial parent's income, and then we start going down that list again.
Right. So that $800 that I'm paying, when do I stop paying that? I mean, do I have to pay that as soon as I file? Or, if I'm filing for modification, how long do I have to pay that $800?
You still paying that until the order is modified.
Till the judge?
Yeah, till the judge modifies that order.
What happens to the custodial parent when they were getting these payments?
Mm-hmm.
We kicked out $800, and now they're not getting it at all. What happens to that custodial parent? I mean, what can that person do to try and get some assistance, or I guess.
Well, there's several other programs. As far as like if they were getting it at one point in time and it was what they were using to pay their daycare,
Right.
then they can apply. Go to the Human Services office and apply for daycare assistance.
Okay.
You can still apply. You know, if they were at one point in time you were getting you had medical insurance, but now you don't have medical insurance. You know, if they can and they don't have it available to their job from their employer,
Right.
then they can go to apply for Medicaid
Okay.
themselves and the children or child.
Uh-huh.
And then there's several different other resources out there.
Right.
So can people actually, I've heard people, can they lose their license if they're not paying attention to child support?
You mean driver license?
Just driver license.
In North Carolina, driver's license revocation has to be court ordered. A judge has to find you in civil contempt 3 consecutive times, not just one time. It is 3 consecutive. Now, other states that are administrative, such as I can just name Virginia off the top of my head. They have administrative action, so they can suspend your license in Virginia for failure to pay your child support, and it will, because we're a reciprocal state, North Carolina will honor that revocation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
So what about you? What about the income tax? Can child support take the person's income tax because he's behind the child support?
Yes, every year we do there's a certification period. October 1 is the date. And October 1, our system looks at every, the federal government looks at every child support obligation. And if there are arrears, then that's when they certify you for tax intercept, state and federal. Now, federal, if you're with federal taxes, if you're paying your child support consistently for 12 months, then there was a decision, it's called the Davis decision, which will basically waive you from that federal tax offset. However, the state of North Carolina is still going to get your taxes in.
Wow.
Does some people can your passport be revoked if you're not paying?
Yes, sir. If they certify you for tax intercept, then you're also certified for passport revocation.
I'm moving to another state. I'm not in North Carolina. I'm going to move to another state, give me another job. How would y'all know that I moved?
How? Well, again, your Social Security number is tracking. And then, of course, the custodial parent is always going to know something about you.
Right.
Where he or she can tell us, well, they moved to, say, Maine. Okay, great. We're going to verify an address in Maine for you. And once we have that verified address in Maine, then what we'll do is we'll package up all of our information, the court order and the payment record, and we will send it to the state of Maine's central registry and ask Maine to register the North Carolina order and enforce the North Carolina order. Collect the money, send it back to us.
Wow. Good. So that's why some people kind of fly on the radar screen. They get these jobs that
Cash only.
Before they won't have to get out of paying child support, even if that don't work sometimes.
No, it doesn't work all the time, because again, somebody knows something that you're doing.
Right.
And most people, if, like I said, the custodial parent, most of them know what's going on. So they're going to tell us, well, John Doe, he's washing cars. Okay, washing cars. He got his own detailing business. Okay, all right. We'll start doing some more research about the detailing business. And then once we figure it out, then that's when we'll file the show cause.
Right.
Because now you need to tell the judge, well, why you haven't been paying if you've been working and making money for yourself,
So
let me ask this one thing about money.
Yeah.
If all the money is being collected, coming to the central office, I would imagine, or to child support.
Centralized collection.
Yeah. So what happens, how much of it stays and how much of it goes to the custodial parents or parent? Yeah.
Hey, so if you have a $350 order and you getting paid every 2 weeks, what's that? $350?
7.
Okay. So that 7, what is that? Was 75 with 350 divided by 2?
We got a calculator over here. So 350 divided by 2, it's 175.
175. Collect, if that's what your employer sends us, then that's what's going to go out to the other party.
Oh, okay. So your agency won't withhold any portion of that Lovely.
We don't get it.
Oh, so y'all, we don't get you don't get.
That's the misconception. We
Right.
get nothing from that.
Yeah, because a lot of guys say, they're going to take a part of my money for a minute, whatever. The client, the staff, the custodian parent is not getting the full child support.
Right. It's being split between the parent and the agency.
No, no, we don't get anything from that. Matter of fact,
Okay.
I hear that a lot too. Where my money going? I don't see it. It's going in the household.
Right.
Right. We don't do that.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I know we got to kind of wrap up, but I mean, we haven't even got to. I told you what we were going to get to the question there.
Hey, you did tell me that.
Well, I think we're going to get it. But anyway, we one of our classes that we have, we invite the child support agency to come. You guys, all of the guys to our program, as well as come to the graduation when they complete the program. And also, we want our guys to understand that the child support system is not against them.
Correct.
It's working. It's not for the mom. It's not against the father.
Mm-hmm.
The child support system is for the kids, collecting money for the kids.
Yes, sir.
Whatever that looks like. And the enforcement is a part of that. If the guys are not compliant, are not compliant. And so we want our guys to understand the child support system and how it works, and for them to be able to it could be in your best interest to comply with your child support order. If you don't, you may end up in jail. And the guy's always telling you, Mr. Glenn, going to jail doesn't work. And I'm saying eventually it does work because you get tired of going to jail one day and you start being compliant paying child support.
Yes.
So it's not beneficial to nobody if they got to put you in jail because of your non-child support.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people make decisions that way, and unfortunately. Mr. Jackson, I really appreciate you coming. There's a million other questions we can ask you about child support. We can't get into all of it in this 30 minutes. But we're really looking forward for you to come in tonight as well. And these some of the questions that we're going to be talking about. Our guys and I are going to be asking you the same kind of questions. And that is the whole purpose of having this class, for them to understand the child support issues.
People may want to say, well, what class are you talking about? We have our I Am a Father Forever textbook that we use, and it's chapter 3 for those individuals who would like to. If you have this book, you'd be able to go and read that chapter and gain more insight.
Yeah.
But yes, coming to class will give you opportunity to ask questions.
Yeah, so before we leave, I got to share this story with you. I was receiving child support when I first separated. That was back in 2015, 2000. I don't know how long it's been now.
Yeah, let's go with that.
It's been longer than that. But anyway, when I started, when I went down to fill out the child support paper, they changed it now. The application ad, where is he working at?
Mm-hmm.
Where is he living at?
Mm-hmm.
And I was filling out an application, so I had to mark out that word he and put she because it was. But I know that the application now have changed because I've seen it.
Yeah.
Because one of the facilities now of single fathers, and now it's really filing for child support. And I know you might have that number, but has it increased over the years, where there's a single fathers that's increased that is now filing for child support?
Over the year, I don't know the exact number, but
yeah.
I've seen a change, a big shift.
Yeah.
We see more single fathers with the children, and they're the ones that we service them just like we would serve the single mother.
Right.
And that's the other misconception. We give more favoritism to the mother.
Right.
That's not the case.
Right.
We're still the same person down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys, when I was seeing my child support, my mother's kid she was perfect at paying her child support. It came like clockwork. And how I needed that money, because that was a part of my budget. And we tell the guys all the time, your child support payment is a part of that custodial parents who's keeping a child budget.
Mm-hmm.
And you decide you want to go out and buy your 22s or your cell phone, and $350 is not a whole lot of money. But for a person who's receiving that money, and if you decide you're not to pay it this month, that's a whole lot it's a budget. Holding your budget is like going to work for 40 hours a week, and your boss pay you for 32.
Mm-hmm.
That 8 hours
makes a difference.
Makes a difference in your budget. So we talk to the guys about the importance of paying the child support on a regular basis, because You may not think that's a whole lot, but that person who receiving that $300 a month, that's a lot. And for them not to receive it because you decide, oh, they don't need it this week, they don't need it this month, I'm going to go out and do other things. So we talk to the guys about being consistent and paying their child support and being responsible. Mm-hmm. So any final words you have about the child support?
Well, the only thing I can say right now, Glenn, is and
James,
is that, I always try to tell non-custodial parents, the best way for me to be able to work with you is to pick up the phone and call me. When something changes in your life, whether it's he or she, if something changes, pick up the phone and call us. If you can't reach your child support case agent directly, then you can always call the customer service, child support customer service, and they'll get the message to your case agent, and your case agent will be able to reach back out to you. But like I said, that window, there's a window. If I still, we can't work with you if you don't tell us what's going on.
Right.
If you feel like you just can't tell us nothing, or you don't want to talk to us about what's going on,
we're going to find out anyway.
We're going to eventually find it out, and then it's going to lead to
other things.
Being in court, having to tell a judge why you couldn't.
Some unpleasantries.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's amazing that those things happen. So anyway, I want to thank you for coming and being part of the discussion, and to our audience, if you know somebody who's struggling with child support, you should make sure you call your caseworker. And sometimes people look at it as a bill collector. For a bill collector, you're kind of bored. You see a bill collector calling you, I'm not here for that. Mm-hmm. But this is what I tell the guys, this is one bill. Don't look at it as a bill because it's really not a bill. It shows possibility. Mm-hmm. But if you want to look at it as a bill, this is one bill that if you don't pay, mm-hmm. If you don't pay your child, your rent, you get evicted.
Yes.
If you don't pay your light bill, you get your lights cut off.
Yes.
If you don't pay your child support, you can go to jail. No. Which means you can lose everything you got. So there's one bill that's got to be up there with the mortgage. You can't be, I'm going to pay this if I got it in the middle left. Mm-hmm. Because this particular bill can take away your freedom because now you found because you haven't been compliant, you show cause, and now the judge put you in jail for a week or 2 or 3 days or whatever with a purge that you got to collect. Mm-hmm. And now they can end up losing your job. So this is a job bill that you must pay, and it's got to be up there with the rent. Yes. It can't be there. If I have it left, I pay my child support for lots of reasons. Because number one, it's your child, you need to support them, and number two, you can lose your freedom if you don't pay your child support.
That's correct.
So again, thank you for coming, Mr. Jackson. I was talking about that again, but thank you for coming and being
always present.
Yes, sir. Yes, discussion, and to our audience, thank you for being a part of our discussion today. And until we meet again, take care. Here's 3 ways you can support our Dads at a Distance initiative. Give a copy to a family member, a friend.
Please.
Donate monthly, a book monthly, 5 books monthly, how many books you want to do monthly donation. Reverse book signing, your church, your business. You can make a donation go to our website at www.afatherforever.com and go to our PayPal at Fathers Forever. Our Cash App is $Fathers Forever. Make your donation today. Please include in the note section, include DAAD. Again, it's include in the note section DAAD.
If you or someone you know would like to be a part of the show, please visit our website at www.afatherforever.com or call us at 919-779-9905. The Chat and Chew podcast streams Thursdays at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. To schedule a reverse book signing or to find out more information about how you can become a part of the programs you've heard us mention today, please be sure to stop by our website as well.
Hello, everyone. This is Glenn Warren, founder and executive director of Fathers Forever. I want to share an alarming reality with you. 627,000 fathers are incarcerated that have kids under 18. Now, there are 56,000 moms incarcerated who have kids under 18. The reality is there are so many more fathers incarcerated than moms.
This is why I Am a Father Forever book exists. Now I need your help. I am inviting you to help us get this book into as many fathers incarcerated as possible. Here's how it works. For your donation of $22, we will provide a book to an incarcerated father. Thank you in advance for helping Fathers Forever heal fathers and save families.